LeBron just said.
There, 100%.
Yeah.
LeBron James and his Lakers trying to go up 3-0 on the Rockets, who are without Kevin Durant. But they have a 6-point lead with 30 seconds to play. And ESPN Analytics said, yeah, the Rockets have a 97% chance of winning this game because of that. Marcus Smart gets fouled, and Marcus Smart would be a disruption against these Rockets at the tail end of this game. LeBron James, 15 seconds to go, triple, tie game, got it. Without that man, Luka Doncic in the cream-colored bomber, that thing looks expensive. 33 points a game, he's good for. Austin Reeves is good for about 24 points a game, so you do the math, that's close to 60, yet still tied 101. Alperen Şengün had 33 points, none of them right there. So with 1 second to go, LeBron James about to be hero.
Oh, it was right there.
It was so close. The sideline angle was amazing. LeBron James couldn't believe it didn't go in. So we go to overtime, 3 to go in it. Lakers up 105-103. LeBron to Rui Hachimura. He went for over 20. Lakers up by 4, 2 minutes to go. Rockets down by 4. Alperen Şengün going 1v1. DeAndre Ayton advantage. Şengün gets the home bounce here. The deficit is, though, 2 for Houston.
A great nickname for Şengün.
What is it?
Somebody tweeted it to me.
What is it?
DM'd it to me.
What is it?
Crab Şengün.
That's good, man.
Pretty good.
That's good. Except kind of saucy on the mitts because he lost control of the ball. LeBron James was a disruptor. 45 minutes played. Lakers win. They're up 3-0. And to break it all down, NBA analyst Quentin Richardson, Q, fantastic to see you. We have seen LeBron James show up and show out in these playoffs, but maybe Game 3 in Houston was a certain different level of special. What message did 41-year-old LeBron send to the rest of the league and these Lakers?
I mean, like he's been doing this whole season, he's showing that he's still a top-tier player and still one of the top talents and can get it done and can lead a team. I mean, he's 41 years old and he's beating 20-year-olds to the 50-50 balls on the floor, out-scrapping them, throwing lobs to his son, for God's sakes. And, I mean, the message I see him sending right now is, hey, listen, we got a chance to sweep right here. Don't let me get rest. Don't let me get Luka and AR back, and we can possibly be really freaking scary in these playoffs if you guys give me a chance to rest up. If we could sweep Houston and then they could get to that next series and get Luka and AR, I don't know what might happen out in LA.
They were sizable underdogs coming into this series. They really were. And back east, meanwhile, hey, we didn't even know if we would have Jason Tatum this season at all. And here he is, Q. He's putting up 25 points. He's playing 42 minutes in this series, giving Boston a 2-1 series lead. How do we put it into perspective? How do you define what Jason Tatum's doing right now?
I literally don't, guys. I don't know how I was thinking about it when I'm watching. I was talking to some of my peers that's played in the league, guys that's had injuries and stuff, and it's like you don't expect a guy to come back and to be this good, this fast. We all, like all of us was giving him like, yeah, he can come back. We expect him to, go out there and just ease his way back. We didn't even put a points on it, how many he would score. And for him to be out here doing these things and looking like he's in mid-season form, like he's been playing all season long, this is just unbelievable. And it speaks to the level of commitment that he put into his training and how hard he worked to get back. Because to be this far ahead of schedule is insane to me. I've never seen it.
Randy's already calling Lakers Celtics NBA Finals. I said,
not.
whoa, Randy, slow it down. Slow it down. A lot of playoffs left, and that's maybe a good thing. Q for the 3-seed Knicks and the 3-seed Nuggets, who find themselves both down 2-1 in their respective series. In your estimation, which 3-seed, though, is in the most trouble?
I say Denver, guys. I say Denver. When I look over there and I don't see an Aaron Gordon in uniform, Peyton Watson, who's another versatile defender for them, I think they're in the most trouble. They're playing against a hungry Minnesota team, and we know what Ant-Man can do. And look how good Rudy Gobert has been playing and Jaden McDaniels. And so I think when you look at it, New York still has a chance, although they down 2-1 out there in Atlanta. I feel like Atlanta is not as dangerous a team as Minnesota to go against. So yeah, man, I think Denver is in trouble right now. They gotta overcome this and get back in it.
They can get even, and it's tonight, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Q Rich, we appreciate the insight as always. The Ram Man with you. NBA playoffs continue today. You got a pair of Game 3s and Game 4s
on
the line. Why don't we start with SGA and the Thunder heading to Phoenix? Phoenix, Arizona. It's the capital city. Looking to grab a 3-0 series lead. A win tonight would mark the third consecutive postseason that OKC's taken a 3-0 lead in the first round. Tipping off at 1 Eastern time. Detroit heading down south, Game 3 against the Magic. Pistons looking to build on a dominant defensive effort in Game 2, holding Orlando to its lowest scoring output of the entire season. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Nuggets looking to even up their series against the Timberwolves and avoid their first 3-game losing streak in the playoffs since 2022. And then there's arguably the most electric series of the first round. New York looking to even things up after a Game 3 heartbreaker fueled by a clutch shot by Atlanta's CJ McCollum. And that's where we start with our NBA senior writer, Vince Goodwill. Vince, our part-time colleague, CJ McCollum, has now closed out the Knicks in each of the last 2 games. So dare I ask, what is New York's approach now to containing our fellow cast member?
Well, you got to see a little bit of it in Game 3 when the Knicks put Josh Hart on C.J. McCollum for a period of time, and it kind of slowed him down, except on that last possession where Miles McBride was guarding C.J. McCollum for that last bucket. And that is a change that the Knicks are considering, is pulling Mikal Bridges, who only played 5 minutes in the second half, and on the spot duty, he's minus 26, maybe pulling him for Miles McBride to start Game 4. The Knicks know they cannot afford another slow start. In Atlanta, Mike Brown said it's going to be a game-time decision. He would not tip his hand, but clearly benching Mikal Bridges and putting Miles McBride in is an option.
Both conferences, meanwhile, East and West, are awaiting the return of stars, a combined 14-plus feet of human being. Let's start in Philadelphia. What's the latest you're hearing on Joel Embiid?
Well, Joel Embiid went through shoot-around, and he's going through basketball conditioning, and he's done all the check marks since having his appendix surgery, but he was not able to go last night. He was not cleared by the Philadelphia 76ers training staff. We all know the 76ers lost last night. Another day in between for Game 4. It could be possible that he returns for Game 4. And if we go out west in Portland for Victor Wembanyama, this is where things start to get interesting. He's dealing with a concussion, of course, but he made the trip to Portland, which is a huge development for them. San Antonio, of course, beat Portland last night in Game 3. That gives them a little bit more of a cushion. Victor pushed the play last night, but the training staff ruled against it. They do have more time to play with, so it could be possible that Victor Wembanyama returns for Game 4 in San Antonio as well.
All right, that one's coming your way tomorrow. That's 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. Vince Goodwill with the latest on SportsCenter. Thank you, sir.
Let's talk more about it. Sports betting analyst Aaron Dolan joining the program. EKD, great to see a lot of injured stars, as you just heard, but we can always bet on and count on Nikola Jokic being out there. Really Denver's hope. What is the move surrounding him tonight?
So I'm looking at Jokic to go over 30.5 points tonight. And this points prop continues to increase each game, despite him hitting under his points prop in every game during this series. But eventually, things are going to turn around for him. He's only averaging 25 points per game through this series. But again, a guy like Jokic, to me, feels like he's due for a big scoring night. We know that once in a while, he can drop 40 or plus points. So I just think knowing that Minnesota is up 2-1 in this series, Jokic is going to have a big game. And considering this prop continues to increase, of course, the books feel he's due as well. It's going to be Jokic over 30.5 points. 27
points in Denver's Game 3 loss to those Timberwolves. Who else, EKD, do you like to go over their point total today?
So I'm looking at Jalen Brunson to go over 27.5 points. Just like Jokic, each game of the series, his prop continues to increase, but he's averaging 28 points per game in this series. He also holds the Knicks record in the postseason with 8 40-plus point performances. So he's one of those guys that's reliable. We know the minutes are going to be there. The opportunity is going to be there. And again, they don't want to go down more games, so I do think if they're going to win this game, Jalen Brunson is going to have a big game, so I like him over his points prop of 27.5.
An off output in this last game. 0 for 5 from 3 turnovers. Let's stay on the threes. Who from OKC could leave us saying OMG from 3, Aaron?
How about Chet Holmgren to go over 1.5 made threes? He hit over this mark in both games so far in this series. And look, I'll give it to Phoenix. They're a very good team. strength of defending the three. They're holding opponents to 35% shooting from beyond the arc, but when it comes down to playing against OKC, that jumps to 40%. We also know that Jalen Williams is going to be out, so there should be opportunity for a guy like Chet, who's gone 5 for 12 already from beyond the arc. So I do like him to go over 1.5 made threes tonight.
Thunder up 2-0 in that series against the Suns. Check out DraftKings Sportsbooks and get going. Aaron, great to see you. Thanks.
Celtics and Sixers. Who's ringing the bell? Mekhi Lemon, the new man.
Come on.
USC wide receiver taken 20th in the first round. A lot of people on our show were talking a lot about that. Not really working too hard. Pre-show, just talking about the Eagles. That's Luka Garza from Jason Tatum. Then Adem Bona on the block on Garza. VJ Edgecombe back to the way. Now Edgecombe,
so fast.
Yeah, he had 30 points in game 2. Oops, back to reality in game 3. 10 points, 10 rebounds, though, and the Sixers would trail by 7 at the break. Tyrese Maxey, part of a backcourt, held to just 17 points in the first half. This backcourt came alive in the second half. Maxey, the pull-up 3. Maxey, drive, a little fall-away baseline, working on his 8th career 30-point game. Sixers cut it to just 1. Now it's 2. Make it 5. Peyton Pritchard, all of his points from distance, had 15 of them on 5 threes. We go to the fourth quarter. Sixers down 2. Now they've got a lead. Maxey stepped right into it, finished with 31. He had 5 triples. Sixers up by 1. Celts now, just a nip-tuck game. They're up 2. Jaylen Brown had 25 points.
Our show scared me back.
Celtic, it was a lot of blood. Celtics up by 4, a lot of scar tissue, and just scarring in general. This scarring for Sixers fans, that's Tatum. That's a 3. He was 5 of 9 from distance. A couple of them were late in the shot clock, late in the game. 25 for him, 3,000 career playoff points for the Celtics to do it. They win 108-100, back on top of the series. Here's Tatum on leading, winning, and scoring, but not 100%.
You know, I can't stress it enough, the fact that I just get to, put my uniform on and run out there with the team is a win for me, right? And, obviously I'm not 100% yet and whatnot, but the amount of joy I've been able to find of, just being back out there and being out there with my teammates was like all I think about.
Yeah, this was like a game 7 for us. Even though it's a long series, we definitely wanted to come back and respond after dropping 1 on our home floor. Can't lose 2 games in a row in the playoffs. That's tough. So this was a big win for us.
Got to relearn some press conference etiquette. Who's walking in front of the camera in the middle of Jaylen Brown's answer?
Is this a good time?
History backs up what he had to say, though. Boston's a perfect 6-0 when taking a 2-1 series lead against Philadelphia in any best-of-7 series. ESPN analytics also backing him up, giving the season 89% chance of winning this series.
First home playoff game in Portland since 2021 at the Sicko Moda Center. Victor Wembanyama going to miss this game because he sustained that concussion when he fell in the second quarter of game 2. That's okay because De'Aaron Fox is here. 18 points for Fox and a chipped tooth for Deni Avdija. I believe the NBA dental insurance is going to get that one all fixed up. 6 assists, 2 for Fox. 6 to go in the third, 77-67. The Blazers up here. Drew Holiday, playoff experience, helped lift banner 18 in Boston. 29 points, 5 and 9 from 3. Blazers were up by as many as 15 points, as a matter of fact. But then the Spurs started chipping away. Keldon Johnson hits a 3. Spurs 12 and 6 without Wemby. By the way, Dylan Harper cleans that up, and then 17 seconds left in the third. De'Aaron Fox, once again, he's not the step scorer. He's the scorer who stepped up.
That's it.
The Spurs up 1 after 3. Let's go to the fourth. Harper, come on. Oh, come on. The rookie, 27 points off the bench, throwing it down. How does he lean his back to avoid the defense like that?
You're demonstrating
I
it.
did. Look, D-Wade, CP, they're impressed. Spurs up 3, 7 to go. Steph Castle, championship experience at the collegiate level. This is all part of a 10-0 run as the Spurs go up 8. Remember, there's a 23-point swing. The Blazers were up 15. Castle, turnaround, fade. You're going to catch this fade, too. 33 points. Spurs win. They're up 2-1 in the series. San Antonio, we talked about it, down 15 in the third. Wound up winning by double digits. It is their largest comeback in the playoffs since Game 5 of the 2014 Finals against the Heat. Spurs also won that game and clinched their most recent
Hannah Storm, Jay Harris back on SportsCenter. Game 4, Knicks-Hawks tonight in Atlanta, and the Knicks have a 3-20 series record. When trailing 2-1 in the best-of-7 series in franchise history, they have lost their last 5 such series. Last time they won a best-of-7 series after going down 2-1, the 2000 conference semis against the Heat, which they won in 7 games. All right, let's talk about this. Senior writer Vinny Goodwill joining us now from Atlanta. Mr. Goodwill, C.J. McCollum has closed out the Knicks in the last 2 games. So what's the Knicks' approach to try and contain him in Game 4 tonight?
Good morning, Jay. You got to see a little bit of it in Game 3, the Knicks employing Josh Hart and switching him over from Jalen Johnson to CJ. And it worked a little bit, and then they have to put Josh right back on Jalen Johnson. They have played they played Josh Hart 40 minutes, and that's 10 over his season average when they tried to basically curtail a lot of the starters' minutes from over usage. But desperate times are calling for desperate measures. They may have to put Josh Hart on C.J. McCollum all game long this afternoon.
What other, lineup changes do you foresee the Knicks may be trying to do against the Hawks to, come up with a better outcome?
Well, you got to see a little bit of it in the second half of Game 3. Mikal Bridges has really been struggling. He only played 20 minutes, minus 26 in those minutes. He only played 5 minutes in the second half, basically a handful of possessions. They may very well bench him for Miles McBride, who hit 5 3-pointers in Game 3 to help bring the Knicks back from that 18-point deficit. Mike Brown is not going to tip his hand. He tried to allude to not doing it at the end of Game 3, but yesterday he said, this will be a game-time decision. He doesn't want to tip the Hawks off. So I do think this is something that the Knicks are considering, facing the prospect of being down 3-1.
Yeah, Game 4 tonight in Atlanta. Vinny Goodwill with the latest. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
And now Quentin Richardson is back with us, and it's so funny because it was Trae Young. Now it's the guy that he was traded for, C.J. McCollum. Somebody killing the Knicks in a Hawks uniform. Here we go. It's like Trae 2.0. Why has CJ been such a matchup nightmare for New York?
CJ has been such a matchup nightmare, Hannah, because he is one of the best and top elite one-on-one players in the league. He has a handle package that is one of the very best, and he's not being treated that way with the people they're having guarding him, with the schemes they're doing. And he knows that. Now, if I know CJ, he probably feels disrespected. You remember the comment, like when they asked him, are you seeking this guy? He say, what do you think? Like, CJ puts in so much work on his craft, and that's where the confidence comes from. You see him out there on the court saying certain players can't guard him, ain't no way, and he has the confidence because he can't believe that they're guarding him like this.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back game-winning shots. The guy's averaging 27 points, 51% shooting, and it wasn't that long ago, Q, that he was He was sitting here on SportsCenter breaking down games, and now we're talking about him. So I think it's a really cool story. All right, let's talk about the Wolves and the Nuggets. Obviously, the Wolves lead 2-1. Jokic and Murray combining to shoot under 28% in that last game. First of all, what gives, and how can they get their mojo back?
I think we got to give a lot of credit to Rudy Gobert. This has been one of his better series in the last couple of years. He's been close to dominant, had a great offensive game the first game, and then defensively, I haven't seen him give Joker this many problems as he's been able to give him. So what they need to do is they got to get Joker back comfortable, get him back into his swag where he had been dominating everybody, because Rudy has really given him problems. He's turned the ball over more than we're used to. He's shot in worse field goal percentage than we're used to. And Rudy has had a great impact on him. And then you have to have Jamal Murray doing the same thing. Those are your two big guns, knowing that you don't have Aaron Gordon right now. So those two got to lead the big way.
Yeah, he's questionable for tonight. By the way, Anthony Edwards was limited to just 24 minutes in Game 3, and he still beat the Nuggets. So it's going to be real interesting. Thanks, Q.
Very.
It's the Thunder at the Suns. Thunder lead the series 2-0, and NBA reporter Tim McMahon joins us now. So, Tim, Jalen Williams left Game 2, as we saw in the third quarter, with a hamstring injury. He's not going to play today in Game 3. What is a realistic timeline that J-Dub could be back with this latest injury?
Howdy, Hannah. He's going to be reevaluated weekly. This is a grade 1 left hamstring strain. As Mark Dagenhalt said, that's about the best news that the Thunder could hope for. So very likely that he's out the remainder of the series. Let's be honest, the Thunder hope this series doesn't last more than another week. And then his status going into the second round is certainly going to be a storyline that we are following very closely. The unfortunate thing is he's had such a rough season with all the injuries. He was spectacular in the first 6 quarters of the postseason before he had this hamstring issue.
Yeah, just so disappointing. They do have a lot of practice playing without him, as you mentioned. He missed a ton of games, and they did go 39-10 in the regular season without him. Can we talk about Devin Booker for a moment? Because he went off after Game 2 on the officiating. Among other things, he said, and I quote, "People are going to start viewing this as WWE if they're not held responsible," close quote. Obviously, he's talking about the refs, and he was fined $35,000. Listen, and I know he was teed up and all of that in Game 2, but this is just a familiar narrative that we've heard from other teams about Oklahoma City specifically this season. How much of it is valid from your perspective?
Okay, this is the hot seat, huh?
Yes, it is.
Listen, Devin Booker, I understand why he was upset. And the technical foul was rescinded. WWE, you have to explain to me why the NBA would be scripting for Oklahoma City to be a potential dynasty. Last I checked, it's not the biggest market in the world. Now, what I will say is the Thunder are an extremely frustrating team to play against and a very difficult team to officiate. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a superstar who excels at getting to the free throw line. There's an art there. He has mastered that art. That frustrates opponents. They are the best defense in the league. They are extremely handsy. They are physical. It's like the Legion of Boom, the old Seattle Seahawks defense. You want to throw a flag every play? It's that sort of thing. So I get the frustration from opponents. I'm going to say I think that the 56-11 difference in points off of turnovers has been a bigger factor in this series than the whistles that weren't blown. And by the way, the Phoenix Suns will be the first to admit that as well.
Yeah, super quickly, just in a nutshell, why is SGA so skilled at drawing fouls specifically?
I mean, talking to people who have to guard him or come up with game plans to try to stop him, he's a master at angles. Now, Dylan Brooks will tell you there's flopping, there's flailing, there's falling, all that kind of thing. But he's so good at creating angles, and you have to respect every pump fake because this guy is the best mid-range shooter in basketball. We're talking about a guard who averaged well over 30 points per game, shooting 55% from the floor, and the vast majority of that is created off the dribble. So the skill and the craft, that combination with the angles, he's going to get to the line a lot.
Dang, man. Meanwhile, the Suns have lost 8 straight playoff games, and they are 9.5-point dogs at home. If you want more on this, because they talk about it all the time, just listen to Tim and his buddies on the Hoop Collective. Thank you. Tonight on ABC at 8:30, we'll have Game 4 between Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. Ant-Man, who played a little under 24 minutes, actually, and the...
They try to make plays. Lakers are down by 3 for the tie. It's good. LeBron James is money. 101. We're going to overtime in Houston.
Marcus Smart has just been outstanding down the stretch.
Hachimura drives on the baseline and scores. 107-103 Los Angeles.
We weathered a lot tonight.
The Lakers win it on a commanding 3-0 lead in the series.
The Lakers become just the second team in the last 30 postseasons to overcome a 6-point deficit in the final 30 seconds of regulation, joining the 76ers, who beat the Knicks in Game 5 of the 2024 first round. Entering last night, teams were 1,785 over that span when trailing by 6+ points in the final 30 seconds of regulation. And as expected, Rockets head coach Ime Udoka was not pleased after the loss.
Horrendous mistakes. I don't know if you want to say youth or, scared of the moment or whatever the case, but a terrible foul on Marcus Smart to give him 3 free throws. Next play, backcourt, you got it. Double's coming, you try to split it instead of throwing it to Alpi wide open. Another turnover, and then James makes a tough shot. Then the final play, for the last shot, we don't run what was drawn up. All the above.
Coach, just kind of what was your general messaging to the guys after this loss, now down 0-3 in the locker room?
grow up, and you're not that young anymore. You've been to the playoffs once, and we watched every situation just now.
NBA analyst Quentin Richardson joining us. Q, a little context. The Rockets started the second youngest starting lineup in an NBA playoff game since starters were first tracked back in 1970-71. With that in mind, what do you make of what we just heard from Coach?
Ime's a former teammate of mine, Jay, so this is par for the course. I mean, he's a straight shooter. I mean, he did these type of things. He called the guys out in Boston when these things were going on. So, and this isn't the first time this season this has happened with this team. And the points he's making are absolutely correct. These are things that whether you're young or old, you can't make these mistakes at this point in the season. This is the playoffs, and you're trying to win without your superstar leader out there. You have to limit all the mistakes you can. And these are, like he said, monumental mistakes. And it's however you want to categorize it. Like he said, these guys have been around a block before. They still shouldn't be here making these type of mistakes at that point in games.
Teams are 159-0 when leading a best-of-7 series 3-0. Game 4 in Houston tomorrow. That is crazy. Staying in the West, Spurs win without Wemby. They take a 2-1 series lead over Portland. What did that young core in San Antonio show you last night?
Man, this is something that I've been seeing all season long. But I've been saying this all season, Jay. Steph Castle is probably, if not my favorite, he's definitely right up at the top of the list for favorite players in the league right now. And Dylan Harper, he just showed, don't poke the bear. He was having a pedestrian type of game until Scoot Henderson got a bucket on him and kind of started to chirping in his face, and he got a technical. And after that, Dylan Harper erupted and went crazy late in the second half. So they're just showing that they have so much young talent and depth that they're scary, man. I really believe that if they can win the championship this year, forget about all the youth and all of that. But even if they don't, I feel like they absolutely going to get them one in the next year or so.
Castle and Harper, the second pair of teammates aged 21 or younger to each scored 25 points in a playoff game. KD and Russ did it back in 2010. Q, my dude, hang tight because you're back in a sec, okay? Looking forward to seeing you again.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Now, Jay, to the primetime game in Minneapolis. Nuggets, Timberwolves tonight on ABC with Minnesota leading 2-1. And this man will be on the call. Tim Legler, so much fun listening to you during these NBA playoffs. So, Tim, walk us through this because Jokic and Murray combining to shoot under 28% in this one. We don't know what Aaron Gordon's status is going to be. How do they get their groove back against the Wolves?
Well, Hannah, there's no other way to put it than this team was manhandled the other night. And I thought from the very beginning of the game, I saw something that's very rare out of a championship caliber team like the Nuggets are. They were put on their heels from the very beginning. It didn't look like their level of force was appropriate for this environment. And I thought defensively, individually, man-to-man, they were too weak and soft at the point of attack. They were getting beat off the dribble repeatedly. The force that Minnesota played with defensively, the pressure all over the floor really disrupted Denver's offense. Comes down to this. I really believe their two best players are the two guys that can overcome this level of defensive intensity and pressure. They're going to have big games because I think if they have a better start offensively than Minnesota, then walking the ball up a little bit more, Denver getting set, not having the ball pushed at them the way it was in the first quarter. I think the start is critical to the game. Denver was the number one offense in the league. That's where they have to hang their hat. They've got to execute on that and allow their defense to be more equipped to handle the pressure that Minnesota put on them. But they just got to be tougher. They were not tough enough the other night. They know it.
I mean, and Ant-Man played less than 24 minutes in that one, right? And we still saw the result. So let's go to the other half of the bracket. The Lakers 22-8 in clutch games in the regular season. You were talking about it all season long. What a clutch team they are. And then look what they do last night in Houston, trailing with 30 seconds to go by 6. And here they are with a 3-0 lead. What did you make of this latest clutch performance? What really struck you about what they were able to do last night?
Well, from their perspective, I think, Hannah, the thing that stands out is they still had belief like that late in the game. After the Şengün breakaway dunk and Rockets go up 6, it's not looking like this team is going to win that game, but they stayed ready and they stayed with their pressure and they forced a couple of turnovers. Now, to me, absolutely inexcusable that Houston didn't close out that game. You can't possibly play worse late when you're just trying to secure a lead and make some free throws to win. than the Rockets did in this game. But the Lakers were there. They were ready, and they didn't panic when they did force those couple of turnovers. They didn't take quick forced shots. Marcus Smart draws the foul, and then on the three that LeBron hit, it's a really good play by Luke Kennard. He would have had a very tough contested shot if he let it fly. Goes back to LeBron, has the patience for the pump fake, and then knock it down. So they played with poise, and they continued to believe. I think that was the biggest thing. But from Houston's perspective, it's an absolute meltdown. There's just no other way to describe that. That has to be a game in which the Rockets win it and give themselves life, thinking, hey, now we can get it to 2-2 in game 4.
Yeah, and listen, not having KD, that's not an excuse when you look across at your opponent missing their 2 leading scorers from the regular season. All right, so let's go on to the young San Antonio Spurs, who were without Victor Wembanyama. They go on the road. They get a win. Castle and Harper were unbelievable. They're going to be such a problem for years to come. How important was that kind of win for this young team?
Huge, because you're talking about, you lose game 2, you go on the road without Wemby. Portland as a team, I really, really like the way they've played over the last couple months of the season. They're tough, they defend. So if they win game 3 and they go up 2-1, like you're feeling now, if you're the Portland Trailblazers, we have a chance to legitimately win this series because they still would have had home court advantage. So that's why this win was so important, to reestablish control, immediately retake home court advantage. And you saw those young guards. Look, make no mistake about it. Stephon Castle is a former Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt. I think he's eventually going to be an all-league caliber player. Dylan Harper's a future star. There is no doubt about it. The minutes he's gotten this year, the impact he's had, this was a little bit different to have this type of scoring burst, because he doesn't usually get that many scoring opportunities. But how can you not be so impressed with this young team and immediately going on the road and taking control of the series once again?
And how can you not think ahead to the trouble that they could give OKC, right?
For sure.
Anyway, before I let you go, I have to talk about the New York Knicks. And one of the great stories this season, CJ McCollum is just like the guy he was traded for, right? Trae Young. He's a Knick killer in this series, back-to-back game-winning shots. What adjustments do the Knicks need to make on both ends of the floor before they're really out of this series?
Well, I think a couple. I think, for one, and I've been saying this since game 1, their biggest advantage they have is Karl-Anthony Towns offensively. There is no real matchup that Atlanta can throw at him. He's physically dominated, 56% from the floor, but he's only taking 12 shots a game. That has to change. I think that needs to be the point of emphasis for the Knicks. And I know that they like to just play in the flow, and they want Karl-Anthony Towns to find his spots organically, offensively. I think there needs to be a little bit more of a predetermined mindset that they're going to get him the ball in spots where he can operate and collapse the Hawks defense. And then on the other end of the floor, I just think they have to be more selective at who ends up on CJ McCollum, particularly if you're in a tight game in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson's going to do his thing on the other end, but defensively, he's being attacked, and CJ McCollum is in a great rhythm. You're going to have to make sure you've got the defender on McCollum that you want late in the game. Because right now, Atlanta has a tremendous amount of confidence against this team and that they're going to win this series. Game 4, absolutely critical for the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible pickup at the trade deadline. I mean, Colin was doing commentary here on SportsCenter not too long ago, and now we're talking about him being a key in this series. Legs, looking forward to your call tonight. We can't wait. And thanks for, getting up early and hanging with us. We appreciate it.
Of course, Hannah, you got it.